guys, my name is Elif and I welcome you to Evolve with me. So we've had all these major planetary events of late. It's been going on and it's going to continue going on. It's going to be the norm that there is this moon and that moon, and we're sort of going back to the old days, back to the basics, where we give space to understanding the energies, the elements, and how we can best tune into them. And I'm seeing that there's a lot of content around, because we've had the lunar eclipse, and we're going to be having the solar eclipse on the 8th of April, and there's a lot of information around what to expect with that eclipse. And I tuned into my higher self, my guides, and I asked, is there anything that I need to share in terms of information to those who come across my content, who follow my content, and who come to me for spiritual teaching and coaching. And my the communication that I received with my higher self, which is me channeling source, connecting to that source energy, was the same as it always is, where I got this response, basically how we as humans are so attached and obsessed with wanting to know, with predictions in a sense, wanting to know what's going to happen, wanting to understand it, and to just be aware of the fact that to be aware of our why. Of course, we're all relearning, we're awakening to these old wisdoms, to the old sacred knowledge, and we want to understand how we can best align with it. But it's important to understand that at the heart of it, we need to be clear on our why. Because knowledge is power, but only if it's implemented knowledge. Knowledge for the sake of knowing, and not having the tools, the practical tools and techniques. It's like having a really, really state-of-the-art program on our computer, and it's just sitting there. Yeah, I've got it, but it's just sitting there. It's of no use. And so this is the message that I got, is that we get very, very caught up with wanting to be ahead of things and wanting to know, because knowledge is power. But what many of us do not realize is that knowledge on its own achieves the opposite of that power. It weakens us. We just become a people who know everything, who then end up arguing with one another because I know more than you, and I know better than you, and I'm right and you are wrong, and no, this is the right way, and this is what I know, and you're just in your ego, and it happens everywhere. We just become people with information that we throw at one another with like bricks, and that we also tend to use against ourselves. Knowledge applied is power. And that is the message that I channeled for you guys around this period, but also to carry forward. There is a keen desire amongst us to know what's going to happen in the future, to want to know, who am I, what is my truth, and we want all this information, and then once we have it, we think that, okay, that's enough. But it just becomes something that our ego attaches itself to. Where does this keen desire and this need come from to know what the future holds? It comes from fear. You want to be aware of the frequency and the vibration behind what inspires you or what motivates you. If it's fear, it's not inspiration. You're motivated towards knowing what's going to happen, towards having some idea of what outcomes you can expect, so that you can try and control situations. And that, even if you use fancy words and you use spiritual practices and you sit with your crystals and you sit with, or you do whatever it is you do, it's still the same old story. You just got different frills. You can only be truly inspired from a place of love, from a place of abundance, from a place of empowerment. So most of the time when people come to me as a reader or go to readers, the types of readers you're drawn to also is significant of where you are vibrationally. But a lot of times when you go to readers because you want to know what's going to happen, what can I look forward to, or what should I expect, and what should I avoid, it is because we want to know how we can control things. We're afraid of shortage. Well, if I know what's going to happen, then I know what to prepare for, because I don't want to end up without, because I don't want this to suffer when I don't have, or what if this runs out, and what if that runs out? Let's stockpile on this and stockpile on that. We're afraid of shortage. We're afraid of suffering. We're afraid of disappointment, and we're afraid of not enough. All of those vibrationally means that there is nothing that no action you can take that is going to create space or distance between you and suffering, shortage, disappointment, and not being enough. Because that is what you're calibrated to. That is what you will manifest. You are the creator of your reality. And so many people don't realize this, but the information without the wisdom of how to apply it in a way that uplifts and serves is just empty information. And it's instead of empowering us, it can be like a curse. It can further put us into a place of bondage. So learn to understand and trust your guidance system. That is key. Not what should I expect? Give me more information. If I were in your physical shoes, I would get a spiritual guide, a spiritual teacher to teach me how to listen to understand, and to trust my guidance system, so that you can begin to exist where your power is in the present, so that you can know and understand how to respond to your reality. Whatever comes into your life is what you've called forth. So there is no point in trying to know when the storm is coming, when things are going to go wrong. Is my partner going to stay, or are they going to betray me? Are they going to choose me, or are they going to choose the karmic? Sometimes we're the karmic, but that's neither here or there. Spirit is constantly guiding us towards understanding how we can respond to the reality that we've created in a way that serves our greater good. You are calling forth everything. That is why we have seasons. We want all these seasons. We don't just want one season, because if we only had one season, our survival would be in danger. Our existence, our survival as a species depends on our ability to evolve. And so, for the simple analogy, when we want to bring new life into the world, when we want to create new life and we want to bring offspring or children into the world, we don't avoid doing that because we know we're going to have 9 months of pregnancy, which is going to bring a lot of contrast into our experience and challenge our relationship, and then we're going to have to give birth, which we might not even survive. We don't allow the fear to make the decision for us in the moment. But sometimes we do that in the 9 months following making the decision, and then instead of experiencing it as a joy, we experience it as a curse, and we feel sorry for ourselves, and we suffer because of our resistance to what we've called forth. You call it all forth. Everything that is going to happen to you around the eclipse, that is happening for you, nothing is happening to you, is what you have summoned, what your soul has called forth long before this moment today. And trying to figure out what it is you need to avoid, what it is you need to resist, only attracts more of that, and that is what creates the suffering. So the message that I got for you is, instead of trying to